Greetings, yogis, yoginis, all the friends. Welcome back. Elizabeth Scala here from Living Sublimely Well, here at our yoga studio. And today we're going to do a abbreviated practice. So let's think. We will not need any supplies that I can think of. No, we won't need any blocks, straps, or otherwise, unless you like to have them around just to grab them as you may need them as an extension of yourself. I always say it's best to use the yoga props, the equipment, to help the physical body access the postures. So today we're going to start standing. We're going to do some qigong-style process, what's called opening the gates. So we're going to move head to toe through all of the joint prominences and open and close. We'll do a few swings, a couple of the warrior postures, and then we'll lie down for our cool down with a twist as well as some crunches for our core. So that's sort of where we're going today. I am not your healthcare provider. I'm not your healthcare professional. I can't see you through the screen. You can only see me, I hope. So therefore, if you have any physical restrictions or limitations placed upon you from some sort of healthcare team, honor those. And as I always say, first and foremost, honor your body. Do what you need. Feel the physical body. If anything creates sharp, shooting, fiery, intense pain, back out of whatever we're doing, sit, stand, or whatever, breathe, just wait for the next movement. Don't cause any injury to yourself through this practice. So we're here to heal, not hurt. So go ahead and find yourself a stance about hip width distance apart, feet nice and grounded to the mat or whatever surface you're standing on beneath you. And all right, let's get started here. I'm ready to begin. All right, so let's start with some shoulder rolls, bringing the shoulders up near our ears, sliding them down the back, keeping the knees nice and loose, never locking any joints. Excellent. Just kind of give that a shake out. So starting with the neck. So let's go ahead and turn the head a bit side to side, as if shaking the head no. So just at your own pace from left to right. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just turning the head side to side, loosening through the neck joint, opening that neck joint, back and forth. Excellent. And let's bring the head back to center, gazing forwards. This next movement for the neck, be very gentle. If you do have any neck bulge or any problems with neck discs or anything like that, honor your body. But let's tuck the chin towards the chest. And then very gently, honoring your body, listening to its needs, dropping the back of the head towards the floor. And then slowly reversing, dropping the chin towards the chest. And then very gently looking up. So as if an over-exaggerated nod of the head. Looking down. And finally, slowly, easefully looking up. Let's do some head rolls. So bring that head back to neutral, gaze is forward. So lifting the left ear towards the left shoulder, chin to chest, right ear, right shoulder, chin to chest. So just half circles, rolling back and forth at that neck joint, keeping the knees loose, the feet plugged into the mat. Excellent. One more time, each direction. And then we'll lift the head back up to neutral, gazing forward. So let's shrug the shoulders up near the ears, dropping them down. Shrugging those shoulders up, dropping them down. One more time, shrugging the shoulders up, drop those down. Then give the shoulders a little front to back shake, maybe a little side to side shimmy, and just kind of flex and extend through the shoulders, front to back. Beautiful. And finally, some shoulder rolls. So bring the ears up towards, or the shoulders up towards the ears, I should say. and rolling. Then opposite direction, rolling those shoulders forwards. Beautiful job. Moving to the next joint, down the arm, the elbow. So extending the arms out in front, bending and flexing through the elbows, opening the arms wide. Beautiful, yogis. Excellent. Keeping the knees loose and light. And from here, we move from the elbows to the next joint on the arms, which is the wrists. So flopping those hands up and down, loosening through the wrist joint, letting the palms be loose, up and down. And then side to side through the wrists, left to right. You can have them both going the same direction. You can have them going opposite, doesn't much matter, just as long as we're moving side to side. And then finally, making some circles at the wrists in one way, because right here in a moment, of course, we'll reverse, go the opposite direction. Beautiful job, everybody. Just staying present with the physical body, noticing its sensations, noticing if one side's tighter than the other, looser than the other. Beautiful. And moving to those big knuckles, so opening the fingers wide, jazz hands, closing the fingers into a fist, opening the fingers wide into jazz hands, closing to a fist. Excellent. Opening wide, closing to a fist, opening and closing. And then the final move for the little knuckles, what we would call bear claw, opening and closing the little knuckles, bending at the little knuckles, just bending the tips of the fingers down. Excellent, everybody. All right, let's shake out an arm, shake out the other. Give all the arms a nice little shimmy and shake. Hands can go to our hips, loose knees, feet a little wider than hip width distance apart. Go ahead and make some circles at the hips in one direction. Keep breathing. And let's reverse circling at the second direction. Wonderful job. Whew, feeling some cracking and popping. Listening to the body, honoring its needs. Lovely. All right, a little bit of a balance challenge, but coming to one foot and flicking that water off the foot, bending at the knee. So I'll turn to the side just so you can kind of see we're just loosening that knee joint. If you fall out of it, just touch the foot down. Go ahead and restart. Wonderful work. We'll take the second foot, bending and flexing at the knee. You don't have to lift the leg as high as me. I'm just doing that for the video purposes. But it's as if you're flicking water off your foot, opening and closing through the knee joint. Great job. And finally, the ankle and toes. So lifting one foot off the floor. And again, you don't have to go as high as I am. I'm just doing that for the video. But we're circling the ankle in one direction. And then go ahead and take those ankle circles a second way. Beautiful. Putting that leg down, the second leg, circling that foot at the ankle. First direction. And then reversing, going the second way, making circles at the ankle. Now the next move you may not be able to see at all because of the camera, but we're going to press the ball of the foot into the mat so that the bottoms of the toes are pressing the floor. And then reverse, bringing the tops of the toes to the floor, stretching the toes in both directions, taking the second foot, pressing that ball of the foot, the bottoms of the toes flat to the mat. And then reversing, taking the tops of the toes where the nails are pressed into the mat. All right, give the leg a little shake, other leg. Shake the whole body out. Arms and legs shake just a bit. Shimmy and shake all different directions. Getting that stagnant energy out of the body. Awesome job. So let's move into what's called a Zen swing now, bringing the feet a little wider than hip width distance apart, We're going to press one hip out to the side and then other hip to the opposite side. The arms will follow as if a pendulum of a clock. Keep your gaze on the horizon, keeping the head steady. And the foot that you have the weight on will stand to the mat. The opposite foot, you can lift the heel of the foot that does not have the weight in it, okay? So pressing the hip to the side, letting the arms swing, loosening through the whole length of the back, finding sort of a moving meditation, just flowing and swinging back and forth. Beautiful, lovely job. Just loosening from all the way from the neck, all the way to the base of the spine in this Zen swing fashion. Nice job, everybody. And then we will actually bring this to stillness, coming back to center, and swing the arms front to back now. So bending through the knees, letting the arms swing, one in opposite each direction. Beautiful job, everybody. Nice work. Just loose and free, light with the body, opening up the channels of energy, opening up, allowing fluids to flow, allowing energy to flow. Wonderful. All right, let's bring that to stillness. And we'll do a couple, as I said, of the warrior postures and some forward folds before we lie down and do some twisting. So let's come towards the front of your mat, feet about hip width distance apart. Step one leg back. So for today, let's step the left leg back first. All of the toes are facing forwards to that short side of the mat. That front knee is bent over your front ankle. Let me see. Let me just lower this one bit down so you can see a little bit better. All right. I'm back. So that knee is bent. There you go, over the ankle. Our hips are facing the short side of our mat. Relax the shoulders down the back, lifting through the chest, tucking the tail, and then lifting the arms so the palms are facing each other. Your gaze is between your hands, looking up. A slight arch through the low back. Breathing deeply here. Excellent. Then go ahead and drop the arms to the hips. Let's turn that left heel in, squaring our hips now to the long side of our mat. That right knee stays bent over the right ankle. The left leg is extended long behind us. Just check in that you can see the heel from your right foot drawing a line to that left foot instep. And once you've got your leg placement, we can go ahead and lengthen our arms, gazing over the front fingertips, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, lifting through the chest, tucking the tail, belly button is drawn to spine, thighs are lifted, the feet are grounded, plugged into the mat. Wonderful work. Breathing deeply. And we'll take our hands back to our hips. Let's lengthen that bent knee, just careful not to lock it. Turn those toes inwards, so now we're a bit pigeon-toed. The toes are more narrow, the heels are wider than the toes. Lift through the chest, lift through the collarbone, and with a flat back, leading with the chest, hinge at the hips, start forward folding, and when you can't flat back anymore, go ahead and round down through the spine, bringing the hands towards the mat, never locking the knees, so the knees can be as bent as you need. letting the crown of the head hang heavy towards the mat. You can keep the hands coming towards the floor, or if you prefer, grasping opposite hand in opposite elbow. And breathing deeply in this wide-legged forward fold. No tension in the neck or shoulders. Let that head hang heavy. Let it spill towards the mat. If your arms are clasped, go ahead, release the hands to the mat, bringing the hands towards the legs, and then gently walking the hands up the legs as you round up through the spine and eventually lifting the crown of the head. Excellent. Let's heel toe the feet to center, and we'll take the whole sequence of warrior 1, 2, and forward fold to the other side. All right, so coming towards the front, the top of your mat, let's go ahead and step that right leg back this time. So the left leg is out in front, the left knee is bent over the left ankle, tucking the tail towards the floor, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. The hips and both feet are square to the short side of your mat. And when you're ready, lifting the arms so the palms are facing each other. Your gaze is between your hands. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. Slight arch through the low back if you like. Breathing deeply. Let's bring our hands to our hips and then turn that right heel in so that your hips face the long side of your mat. The left knee stays bent over the left ankle, and that left heel draws a straight line to your right instep. Once you've got the legs placed and the feet placed, go ahead and raise the arms, gazing over those left fingertips. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, lifting through the collarbone, drawing that belly button towards the spine, tucking the tail. The feet are grounded, they're plugged into the mat. Standing sturdy, steady base here in Warrior 2. And let's bring our hands to our hips, lengthen through that bent knee, and then turn those toes towards that short side of the mat, leaving the heels a little bit wider than the toes, so a little bit pigeon-toed. And from here, we'll lift through the chest, hinge at the hips, lead with the chest. So with a flat back, start tilting the upper body forward. And when you can't flat back any further, go ahead and round down, dropping the hands towards the mat, bending the knees as much as you need, letting the crown of the head fall to the floor. No tension in the neck or shoulders. Let the upper back hang heavy. Let the head be heavy. Breathing deeply here in the wide-legged forward fold. Then bend the knees a little bit more, bringing the hands to the legs, and start slowly walking the hands up the legs, rounding up through the spine, eventually and lastly lifting the crown of the head. Heel toeing the feet back to center. Excellent job. So you can go ahead and lie down to your mats. I'm just going to adjust the camera angle so we can see the mat. Beautiful. So go ahead and lie on the flat of your back. We're going to take 2 twists here and then do some core work. Excellent. Hello. All right. Lying the length of the mat. So feeling all those touch points. The back of the head, the backs of the shoulders, the middle back and low back, the rear end, the backs of the legs, the heels, all those places making contact with the mat. Taking a breath or two of rest, ensuring that you're flat to the floor. Awesome. So let's bend both knees, bringing both soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to press into the feet, lifting the tail and hips off the floor. Then we're going to scooch onto our right hip, letting the knees fall to the right side. The left foot may lift off the mat. That's perfectly fine. We'll open the arms to a T, so they're perpendicular to the body. And you can gaze up at the ceiling, or you can look towards the left fingertips. Now, while that left foot may have lifted off the mat, just make sure that the left shoulder is still in contact with the floor. If the left shoulder's lifted, we've twisted the knees just a bit too far. So make any necessary adjustments. And breathing deeply here in the twist. Let's draw the belly button towards the spine, lifting the knees up towards the ceiling using your core strength, lowering the arms to your side, and then press into those feet, squaring now back onto the fullness of your tail. So again, making sure you feel the back of the head, both shoulders, the middle, lower back, the tail, and then we'll go ahead and set up for the second side. Pressing the feet into the floor, lifting the hips, scooching onto our left hip, letting the knees fall to the left side. That right foot may lift off. That's perfectly okay. Opening the arms to a T. Gaze is either towards the ceiling or perhaps looking towards the right hand. And checking in with that right shoulder. Make sure it's still grazing the mat. Breathing deeply, inhaling all the way to the base of the spine. Exhaling slowly to the crown of the head. Nice and even, deep breaths. Wonderful job. Let's engage those core muscles. And by doing that, we draw belly button to spine. Use the core strength to lift the knees back up to the ceiling. Lower the arms to the sides and press into the feet, squaring on to the flatness of the back. So feeling the back of the head, the backs of the shoulders, the middle back, the low back, and the tail. So from here, before we close, we'll do a little core strengthening. So we're going to do some basic crunching. So we're going to keep the feet as they are, both feet grounded to the mat, both knees bent. We'll go ahead and take the opposite arm towards the opposite shoulder. And all we're going to do is tighten that belly button towards the spine, and we're going to lift head and shoulders off the mat. Then we're going to gradually, with control, release down. So tighten the core muscles, draw the belly button towards the spine, lifting head and shoulders, and then release down. Tighten through the abs, lifting head and shoulders, and release. Draw that belly button towards the spine, tighten the core, lifting head and shoulders, and slowly with control, lower down. Tightening the belly, lifting up, and lowering down. So we'll do 5 more. Tighten through the belly, lifting head and shoulders, and release. Tightening through the core, the belly, lift the head and shoulders, lower down. 3 more. Tighten the abs, lifting head and shoulders, and release. Tighten the belly, lifting head and shoulders up, and lower down. The last one will hold for an extra second or two, so tightening through the core, lifting head and shoulders, breathing here for a breath. Great job, everyone. And then slowly with control, lower down. We'll release the hands to the sides. Let's let the knees flop from right to left, just releasing any tension or pressure that may have built up through that low back. And then finally, I was going to close with legs up the wall, but I don't have a chair. But let's prepare for Shavasana. So you have two options. You can either take Shavasana as you typically would, where you're lying the flatness, the length of your mat, the pinky toes flopping towards the corners, the arms a bit away from the body. Or alternatively, you can find yourself a wall, scooch a hip right up to one wall side, and then sliding those legs up the length of the wall so that the backs of the legs are up to the wall. Your tail is right there in the corner where the wall meets the floor. And your gaze is up at the ceiling. Again, the arms could be opened out away from the body with the palms facing up. And we'll rest here for just a few minutes. So relaxing the face muscles, unclenching through the jaw, let the tongue hang heavy in the mouth. Relax the shoulders, loosen through the chest. Let the low back release to the mat. And if you feel okay with it, you can close the eyes or just taking a soft gaze towards the ceiling. So if you've chosen the legs up the wall option, slowly starting to let those knees bend, sliding the feet, coming down off the wall, making your way onto your right side, whether you're on the wall or in traditional Shavasana. Just laying and resting for a moment on the right side, cradling the head in the right arm. And then taking your time, gently pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the upper body, coming back to any seat of your choosing. Taking your time, going slow, allowing the body to reorient to the uprighted posture. We'll take our hands to our sides, and with the inhale, lifting the palms out and up to the sky. Exhaling the hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in each and all of you. It has been a pure honor and deep pleasure to facilitate this abbreviated yoga practice for you all. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. And thank you everyone so much for joining me from wherever you are. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from, so drop a comment below. There is a link in the description of the video available to you to check out our yoga classes here at our yoga studio in Whitehall. Or if you cannot make it to Maryland, because maybe you're somewhere around the globe and would like a one-on-one yoga instructor, someone to help you rehab after an injury or maybe bounce back after an accident. My style is a gentle, healing-paced yoga. So nothing too crazy, nothing too painful, nothing too fast. And I would be honored to serve you in that way. So again, check out the link in the comments. Share this video with friends, family, loved ones, colleagues, neighbors, coworkers, whoever you know. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you.